After an extremely volatile week for cannabis stocks, has the bubble burst, or is this a huge opportunity for those who missed out on the recent rally for the sector? I'm going to quickly analyse what's going on and point out a couple of cannabis stocks that I think could be some of the best investments in the market. It's been a tough couple of years for cannabis stocks after the frenzy ended and the bubble burst in 2019. However, the sector seems to have bottomed, and the Democrats winning the US election in November seems to have re-sparked the industry. As you can see from some of these charts, many cannabis stocks share an eerily similar pattern to most cryptocurrencies, and this is because despite having huge potential, many cannabis companies and cryptos are still pretty speculative. They have very little history of success, and therefore it's hard to separate the best from the worst in the industry. That said, I have been investing in a number of cannabis stocks for a few years now. I've owned Tilray since it was $4, and my favourite cannabis stock, GW Pharmaceuticals, recently rose 50% in a day to reach an all-time high. In fact, I posted a video right here on my YouTube channel about why I love GW, and 3 days later, the stock jumped 50%. So make sure you subscribe now and take advantage of my upcoming videos. Without further ado, here's the skinny on 3 cannabis stocks that I think can make good long-term investments. Firstly is Canopy Growth. And what I like about Canopy is that it's without doubt the safest company for you to gain direct exposure to the cannabis market. Not only do they have some of the most recognizable products, but they also have the most cash thanks to their partnership with Constellation Brands, and therefore Canopy is better able to weather any storms. They can commit more to research and development, and they can potentially afford to operate at a loss and undercut the competition in much the same way Netflix, Amazon and Uber have done. My concern with Canopy is that the business is worth up to 5 times more than some of its closest competitors, and therefore the price perhaps already reflects these huge advantages. However, if we start to see a rotation where investors move out of Canopy and into riskier cannabis players, then this could bring Canopy's market cap back in line with the industry and therefore represent a huge long-term opportunity. Secondly, and arguably the stock that's made me the most money this year, is Tilray. The stock recently rose as much as 1,200%. It was the most talked about stock on Reddit's Wall Street Bets, as well as the second highest traded stock on Robinhood. Apparently the plan was to perform another short squeeze, given that Tilray has 1/10 of the shares available compared with competitors like Cronos and Aurora. However, Tilray's situation is very different to that of GameStop. Tilray does have some short interest, but nothing like what Melvin Capital had on GameStop, and a large portion of Tilray is owned by sensible investors who scooped up shares for around $2 or $3 during Tilray's crash in 2019. Therefore, when the price almost touched $80 last week, these investors, myself included, decided to take our profits, and this set off a chain reaction, sparking fear amongst the Reddit crowd and caused the stock to collapse 60%. However, I think Tilray is much more than just a short squeeze, and the company is positioned as well as any to succeed in the growing cannabis sector. Their upcoming merger with competitor Aphria will create the world's largest cannabis company by revenue and give the business numerous advantages over their rivals. As a larger company, the new Tilray will save on costs whilst being able to leverage 2 sets of partnerships to reach new markets across the US and Europe. The only problem with Tilray is that the attention it's getting from short squeezers is causing huge price spikes in the stock and taking the share price to perhaps where it should be in a couple of years, and not today. This can easily mislead investors who don't properly understand the fundamentals of trading, and therefore, although I think Tilray is a sure bet in the cannabis sector, you still need to be careful that what you pay for the stock is fair value, and I don't see tremendous value above the $50 to $75 region. Let's move into my third option, which is a little bit different, and that's the stock of Xxii. This biotech company is a tobacco specialist, most famous for using patented technology to grow tobacco with basically any level of nicotine that they choose. Not only are they very close to gaining regulatory approval for what they're calling non-addictive cigarettes, but the company recently announced patents within the cannabis sector where they'll be using their plant-based biotechnology to genetically modify hemp and cannabis plants to improve breeding techniques, cultivation, and THC control. Therefore, the company offers investors a different way of gaining exposure to the growing cannabis market without simply investing in the producers of dried flower, edibles, and beverages. The long-term reward potential with Xxii is as big as anything in the cannabis sector. However, the stock carries a lot of risk in many different ways. For example, they're not guaranteed regulatory approval, and it's likely that they'll face competition from large pharma companies also looking to get into this space. So there you go, 3 cannabis stocks that I think are the best on the market. I actually included Tilray in a post that I did 3 months ago, highlighting 10 stocks that I believed could double in 2021. Of course, it's more than quadrupled since then, but you can check out the rest of that list in the description description below. I hope you enjoyed the video. Before you go, please click the like button. It takes just a second, whereas I did spend most of my Valentine's Day researching and recording this so that hopefully you can save or make yourself some money. Stay tuned for my upcoming videos. I've got loads of really cool ones on top crypto and gene editing stocks, so click subscribe and you'll know as soon as they're uploaded. Remember, 3 days ago after my video on GW Pharma, the stock increased 50%, so take this second, subscribe now and make sure you catch the next one. In the meantime, check out my website tradingplaces.com for lots more free trading ideas, and remember that your money should be working for you and not the other way around.